Bonjour les amis. Aujourd'hui on est le jeudi le 28 mai et aujourd'hui je vais vous parler de Google Translate. Excusez mes cheveux, je suis allée promener mon chien et il pleut. Donc j'ai les cheveux mouillés parce qu'il pleut dehors. Donc, on va parler de Google Translate. So, you guys are going to be doing your stories, you're going to be at home, and you're going to have this huge temptation to use Google Translate. And I know that. So, what I'm going to tell you is that you are probably going to use it whether I tell you you can or not. So, I'm going to say yes, you can use it, but I'm going to take points off if you used language that other students at your level cannot understand and that you don't even know what you wrote or what it means. So, how can you avoid this pitfall of Google Translate? I will show you how. So, we're going to go to Google Translate, and what you need to think to yourself is, do I know how to say this thing in French? And as much as possible, you need to try to limit yourself to the things you know how to say, or that you know you've been taught, that you could guess if you saw them, you would know what it was. So, for example, if you want to say, I've seen some people saying would, like he would do this. We haven't actually learned that. That's the conditional tense. Now, what if you do, like, you absolutely feel like you absolutely have to use that in a sentence? Then you can use it, but you're going to need to add it to your glossary. And if you don't put it in your glossary, I'm going to take points off because that shows me you were lazy and you didn't actually pay attention to what you were doing and you just typed a bunch of stuff into Google Translate without thinking about your reader. So your readers are going to be other students at your same level. And if you throw a bunch of language at them that they don't know how to say, or they don't know how to interpret, you're going to lose points. So, that being said, like, for example, say I'm introducing a character and I was going to say, there was a frog. And maybe we didn't learn frog, but you can just put that in your glossary. So you go ahead and you say, oh, frog, une grenouille. I'm going to put that in my glossary. And don't forget that if you don't know how to say the words, then you can play this and it will tell you how they're pronounced. There was a frog. His name was Kermit. You're not allowed to actually do that in your stories. He was happy, kind, and generous. He liked to sing. So you can see here that you're getting a lot of this tense, which is the imperfect, the was, things that happened over a long period of time in the past. But you need to be checking. Did you know how to say sing? Did you know generous? Did you know kind? We've all learned those things in class, so you don't really need to put those into the glossary. Now, the difference is here with your verbs, ete, me. I think ete you guys all know. What you might want to do is put something in your glossary that says, verbs that end in ais, ait, or ions. That's the imperfect, and those things mean like somebody was doing something for a long time in the past. So if you're writing in the past tense, you're going to get some of these things. So then you can say, like, say we wanted to do a little dialogue and we say, one day he met his friend Fozzie. Fozzie. Fozzie was a bear. Fozzie was hungry. Fozzie asked Kermit, do you have some honey? And you may not know the word honey, miel, so you're going to need to put that in the dictionary or in the glossary. As you look back, did you know the word rencontrer, like met? And this is the passé composé, a rencontré, he has met. But we just translate it met. So as you're going through, if you're using Google Translate, you need to look at every paragraph and think about, did I know how to say that? Would I recognize it? Would other students recognize it? reading it and doesn't need to go in the glossary. If you do those things, you're going to be okay. Now, the other thing is you need to be really careful with certain words that are like the word get, because we use that in English all the time. Like he went to get some food. Well, did he actually go to buy some food, to steal some food, to take some food, to find some food? Like think of other words you can use besides get so that you don't end up with these random weird translations that you can end up with. If you have a question, like if you're not sure if the translation is right, go to word reference, check it out. Another thing that ends up happening is when people use like words like buying, or I saw one the other day, barking. Aboiement is the noun barking, like his barking was driving me crazy. You would want to say like the dog was barking. You need to make sure you have a whole sentence, because if you don't, like say we say here, Fozzie was barking. That's correct. Okay. But if you just say Fozzie barking, that's not correct. That's a messed up sentence. That doesn't make any sense. So you need to make sure that you're careful about those kinds of things. Try to avoid the ing if you can when you're writing, because unless you do was in front of it or is in front of it. With the helping verb, it'll work, but if you leave the helping verb off, it won't. So just be careful. Make sure that if there's words that we didn't learn, like we didn't learn barking in class, so that would have to be added to your glossary. So keep those things in mind, and then yes, you can use Google Translate.